Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. It's Wednesday, January 14th. We're all the way in the middle of January already. See how these days go by? Man, it seems the days go by faster. It's looking to be a good morning. You see, I'm sitting in my SUV. You can see my fishing poles in the back. Man, I'm subject to hit the pond at any time, man. Caught a few brim yesterday. I enjoyed it. Just got finished with my walking. I'll do some more later on today. But as the channel says, I like to give advice on safety, how to take care of yourself and what you should carry in these days and times. And I feel I can do that, because I was a victim of a violent crime. Yeah, I was a victim, so people cope with it different ways. Some people have a hard time with it. After 30 years of law enforcement, you would think a man's home, a woman's home, that's your sanctuary, that's your castle. And most folks feel safe when they're at home. Saw a news feed last night from a man, Steve, on the Dynamic Reasoning channel. Y'all need to check him out, man, and showing some love. Hit like and subscribe. But what he was showing was this individual in a neighborhood about 5 o'clock in the morning bangs on the door of somebody's house, and he's got a firearm with him. He's banging on the door, and then he backs up. Then he finally gets mad and fires shots into the home. Well, the victim has the man's face on her door camera. She don't know the man, ain't never seen the man before. And this man, imagine being in your home in the morning in the bed asleep and somebody shoots up your house, So I say that to say this. One evening, me and my wife came in after a night out, and we done our shower and everything, and she's in her room, like her little office. She's doing some work for her job. She, what I call homework. She's a substitute teacher. So I'm in the bedroom. I lay up on the bed and I grab the remote and I'm watching television, some of my favorite shows. YouTube, I watch a lot of YouTube. I think I was watching my man Mike on the Watch a Tall channel. He's also called the Dog Man. Check him out. He's got some good advice. And I also watch Big Ward, Big Man, Big Ward. He's got good advice too. Check him out. So I'm laying there. The dog's laying to the left of me. I'll tell you about my dogs in a little bit. So I hear a pop. And you know how a drop cord sounds when it shorts out, the electrical surge, and pop. I thought that's what it was. And I said, well, the lights didn't flicker. I said, my wife said, did you hear that? I said, there was a pop. And I had the fan on in the room. I sleep with the fan on. She said, did you hear that? I said, I heard a pop. She said, somebody fired shots. I said, really? It sound like a car or whatever. I don't know, but somebody come by and fired 2 or 3 shots. And so when I eased up, I look over to my left, see a hole in the wall. It's about this far from where my head was. I go running out on the porch. I have my pistol. And from it looked like just like what a drive-by would be. Somebody drove by and fired shots. And a lot of folks around here, they know I'm law enforcement or retired law enforcement, whatever. And at that time, I was thinking, wow, somebody's picking me out. I said, what did I do? And I've been retired 2 years, and into something else. And I'm thinking, why would somebody want to shoot me up other than just being a law? Because a lot of people hate law enforcement anyway. I understand that part. And I went outside to the front of the house, and I found 3 bullet holes. And I went inside the house, and of course, we called the sheriff's office. They came out, so I'm popping holes in the wall on the inside. They're fixed now, but some of it is. I still need to fix some more. But what I was doing was looking for projectiles, and I know whoever it was shot a .40 caliber at my house, and I'm glad it got lodged in the corner. It hit the home right at the corner of the home and got lodged in the corner inside the wall. And the part that came through, I don't know where it went, but the house was built with such good material. I'm glad it stopped the bullet. One went into my bathroom, didn't hit anything but the wall, but it was that far. The first one was that far from my head. That's the pop I heard, and the dogs were acting erratic. So I figured it would be an unsolved deal. But, as a deputy and detective and stuff, it kind of hits home. Because, you're out there helping other people and helping other victims, and then when you become a victim yourself, I was a little uneasy, And lo and behold, about a week later, my buddy, who's a detective that still works, came across a female victim. And how they found out is she came out and stated that her disgruntled boyfriend came to her house, I guess, and kidnapped her or snatched her up against her will and was driving around. So he was very intoxicated. And they drove all around to different places. And he happened to drive the route where my home's at, the highway where my home's at. And she gave a written statement that they were driving down the road and he was mad at her and had her drive, but he was shooting out the window trying to scare her. And she was terrified of the man. But he drove by, shot at my house and a couple other people's homes, all in the same night in different areas. Because I was, as I talked to the detective that came to my home, or the first sergeant, he was saying, man, we got 2 or 3 homes that been shot at, and in North Carolina, the crime is shooting in the occupied dwelling. Well, they finally got the guy. He ended up being a convicted felon as usual. They're going to carry guns, even though, so he's looking at Fed time, but he was a Hispanic man. Come to find out, he took her to another county in a field and was trying to unlife her, but the firearm he had dirt in or something that wouldn't discharge or whatever. But finally she got home. I don't know how she got home, but anyway, I wasn't really that he wasn't after me. I really wasn't in it. I was just anonymous, which it don't matter, man. You hit my house, so I go to court. I've been twice, and this guy's looking at me, and I'm like, if I was sitting on the front porch when you drove by shooting, we wouldn't be having this conversation. I'm being honest with you. If I was sitting on the front porch or in the front yard when he come by shooting, I'd have disabled him and his car. don't fire at somebody and fire back. But you know, things they're not gonna come by and fire on you when they know you can fire back. It's what I call fighting the battles they can win. But there again, I wasn't really the intended target, but there was other victims as well. But that's where I'm talking about. You should feel safe in your own home. You're minding your business, doing your thing. Somebody drives by, shooting. You know, and we see a lot of this stuff, and that's why, you know, keep some cameras. I've got 3 cameras around the perimeter of my property, my buildings, my vehicles. Be on the lookout for home invasions. I have dogs, you know, to any would-be, you know, and I'm honest when I say this, if you kick my door open, I hope you made peace with your maker, because these dogs, if I give them the command, they will eat you alive. Okay? They will eat you alive. At my command. A similar situation to that, where we were all at work. Apparently somebody came by the house, and I think at that time, I remember they broke in the back door. There's some woods. They came in through the woods from behind the house. They let this truck go by. They broke in the back door, and the dogs were on them. How I know, and this is a sad story and I can't stand it, my dogs are inside the home. They're not outside. They go outside when I let them out, and I go out with them. So they don't. I got a fenced-in backyard. So we got home that evening, and you know, my wife called me and said somebody's been in the house, because the kitchen cabinets were open, or something or another. What she said, I don't understand that. But he come in the back door, the dogs got a hold of him. And so when we got home, one of the dogs was missing. We couldn't find her. My lab. Couldn't find her. And I was searching all over. 3 days later, you know, I found her. She had been run over. You know, and boy, my heart was broke. Because she was in the house. I never take her out unless I'm with her. She had got out the back door. Whoever broke in left the fence ajar, so she got out and chased them down the road, and apparently sometime during that day she got run over. So I found her and I buried her, you know, and because we're out in the country. So that's why I'm talking to you. I've been a victim, so I know how it is to be a victim. A couple of days later, from another county, here comes an animal control to my house. I was going to ask you about your dogs. I mean, do they all have their shots and all their, but you know, do they have their tags? And I'm like, yeah. Why are you coming from another county asking about my dogs? I don't mean to be a butthole. I said, I'm law enforcement, bud. What are you doing here? And it was a female, and she said, well, we got a victim at the hospital with a dog bite, claiming the bite happened at your home. I said, well, good, thank you. What's her name? Oh, I can't give you that. That's confidential. We just want to make sure the dog's okay. I said, I'm not telling you nothing about my dogs until you tell me who the victim is. I will tell you why. Because they broke in my house. That's why they got bit. They committed a felony, first-degree burglary, breaking in my house in the back door, and I don't know who it is, and that's before I put cameras up. And she left, never heard from her again, because I was going to bust the son of a bitch's ass that broke in my house. Ain't that something? Nobody wants to communicate, even though I'm law enforcement. They didn't want to tell me nothing. But they wanted me liable for that dog bite with my dog. I said, oh, no, You tell me who the person is, because I'm going to bust their ass. It got washed up and nobody can tell me nothing. Probably because it was another county. If it was in my county, the person would be up under the jail. So, if you like what you see and hear, man, hit like and subscribe. I've since then fixed everything with the house and put up security cameras and added some more dogs and that sort of thing. I think they broke in the home maybe to see if I had firearms, which I do, but you won't never find them, you know. That's a good deal. So, but yeah, man, let me know what you think. If you've been a victim, tell me in the comments about your story. So I understand how it is to be a victim. So y'all have a good day, man. Have a good one.